Happy New Year! How is everybody? Hope you guys are fantastic. It is 2019. 2019 came in like a whole lion, roaring. Everything is off to such a quick, fast pace. There's lots going on. A lot of us are enduring lots of change already at the top of the year, but in general, it's been a pretty good year. Just seeing everything happening for everybody and seeing everybody moving around. So happy New Year. The other good thing too is we are about halfway through January. So anybody that you were gonna cut off, they probably cut off already. So we ain't got to see that. We ain't got to see that for another couple weeks. Everybody's getting kind of settled into the year and figuring out what to expect. And so in the area of who you're going to cut off, who you're going to keep, the only kind of people you're rocking with this year, in the middle of those declarations, I just want to encourage us to do some relationship spot checks. And what I mean by that is really examining the people that you are close with and tracing the source or tracing the area or the item, the person, place, or thing, whatever it is, the setting, but tracing the bond, the source of the bond. And the reason that is so important is because it's going to tell a lot about the future of that relationship, but it also is going to highlight some key indicators about the people involved in the relationship. And the reason this is striking and this is important and this is a 911 topic is because as you begin to trace the depth of these relationships and link it back to, well, what is the thing that we bonded over? What is the thing that brought us together? So you have people who, I worked with them for many years, and before I knew it, I cared about them. We went to the same church, we went to the same grammar school, and just kept in touch with each other. But you want to trace those things because the last thing you want, the last place you want to be in, is a relationship where you have bonded over dysfunction. And how do we get to a place where we bond over dysfunction? A lot of that starts very innocently, right? A lot of it starts just through venting. She was somebody I could talk to. Turns out we had the same experience. And so what starts off as a session where I just need to vent, I just need to get this off my chest. If you are venting to someone who is not mature, if you are venting to someone who doesn't have the aptitude to consider what parts of the story they may not be receiving, because the reality is a venter is only going to give their perspective. They don't have a well-rounded point of view and perspective. And I'm not saying they have to, but if you're not venting to someone who's like, okay, let me try to figure out what else may have happened in the story that I'm not being told. Or if you're not venting to a person who you respect enough at the juncture, at the point that you're venting, you got to respect them enough for them to stop you or for them to tap you on the shoulder and say, wait a minute, this is a little bit more than a vent. This is something deep. If all of those things aren't working, and this is just somebody just because it was a listening ear, and then you guys begin to bond. How does that happen? I'm venting to you, you're listening. Then the next time around, I'm going to vent to you and you're listening. And then we're going to start comparing stories. That happened to you? Try that happen to me too. You know what? That didn't happen to me like that, but I saw it. I discerned it. I picked up on it. And now the basis, the foundation, the entry point for your relationship is just about how hurt you both were and how similar your hurts are. And so you don't really have anything else in common intellectually, don't even like the same things initially, but you're bonding over the source of this pain that is unresolved that you really haven't had a space and a form to deal with. And so that is how that surface level pain turns into dysfunction, because the entire premise of a relationship is built around shared pain. And so there's not necessarily danger in building a relationship around shared experiences. And woven into that equation may be experiences that were painful or had painful elements. But when the sole source of what you have in common with a person is pain, especially when that pain comes from the same place or location. And so what my mind instantly goes to is the notion of church hurt, right? Church hurt is a real thing, sometimes exaggerated, sometimes used for an excuse. This talk is not about church hurt, but using that as an example, typically you'll have people who were wounded or offended by the same pastor, or even if not the pastor, in the same church, or even if not in the same church, by the same denomination at different churches. But that is the thread that has bound them together. That is what the first 3 months, the first 90 days of their relationship is all about, exploring their hurt and the differences and the similarities between the two. So eventually you'll start hanging out to talk about your similar pain. You'll start doing stuff together, spending time together, making time and occasion to bond over this issue. It's very dangerous. Very, very, very dangerous. Because sometimes people think, oh, we're exactly alike. We should be in a relationship together, right? When there are elements of your makeup that may mesh well with someone who is similar to you. But if the only thing you're bonding over is the weight of your pain or the potency of that particular area of dysfunction, what you really have is worse than the oil and water thing. You really got ammonia and bleach. In their own right, they're strong. They're similar in that they're chemicals. They're cleaning agents. You can use them to disinfect, but you mix them together and you've got dysfunction. And the sad thing about that is a lot of times people who don't have the appropriate outlets, or they don't really know what to do with pain, or they don't really know what to do with things that are deep-seated, other than talk about them, not to pray, not to get, some real resolve. Because a lot of times it's not about resolve, it's about being heard. Especially if you were pained, or if someone caused you pain, or if you were wronged by someone in authority. We don't really know how to deal with that. So the best way we know to avenge ourselves is to just talk about it. Especially my people. We want to talk about it. We want to be heard. We take to social media or the next available ear. And when you start getting a bunch of people, if you start to look at your circle and it's expanding and everybody, and it's one thing if everybody in the circle belongs to the same fraternity or sorority. Not so bad, right? But if everybody in that circle has been hurt in the same way, nobody's getting healed. We're just exchanging stories. You want to do some relationship investigation. You don't necessarily want to create bonds that are that whose root is rooted and grounded in dysfunction or in pain. You want to vent and seek help, because we do need to talk. We need to get some stuff out, but vent and seek help from someone who can help, who has a more mature approach, a mature stance, who's not going to exchange. That for me is a red flag. If I'm venting to you and you're coming right back with that happened to me, and it's not like that happened to me and this is how I overcame, it's that happened to me. Let's sit in it and let's talk about these people who hurt us. Let's draw similarities and comparisons between that group, that pool of people that hurt us. It's really time to take another look at that relationship and make some assessments about what is this relationship doing for my health. Because you keep moving and keep going, that doesn't mean you're progressing and growing at all. You can continue to exist. You could even have great things happen in your life. But if the condition of your heart and your soul is no better after you've been in a relationship with this person for some time, and all you do have is a person who shares the same pain, you may want to make an assessment of that relationship and pull some of the stock out of it. Pull some of the valuation out of it. I'm not saying drop that friend, cut them off, they ain't going where you're going. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying make an assessment and decide which parts of yourself you're going to pull out of that relationship. Because any part of yourself that you don't invest in something that is vibrant is going to die. So if you guys are bonding and having these very deep conversations and these connected experiences about this pain, that part of you that was hurt is not healing. It's being heard, but it's not healing. And those aren't the same thing. So it's being heard, it's not healing, it's slowly dying. You're going to look up and be only a fraction of yourself in that area if you are not relationally sound and if you're not attached to relationships that are going to help. So that's my little tidbit on relationship maintenance. I'm going to be talking an awful lot about general maintenance, general life maintenance through the course of the year, and kind of sharing some of the things that I've learned over a very rough 18 months for me heading into 2019. But I am victorious, feeling great today, and really, really, really want you guys to be successful. So hang in there, and I'll see you soon. Okay? Bye-bye.